My hopes are that the people who run our world, the really top influencers, and I really think there is no problem with the top influencers. They've already are awakening to the fact that something more is needed and it is missing. It is the middle ones, it is the ones that come right below the top, who are still under the illusion that success is going to make them happy. And success means material gain. That will feel threatened by anything even coming close to the word spiritual, other than, okay, for 1 hour every morning I'm going to meditate and be in a better state all day to be able to make more money. Or to have a better relationship with my wife, or whatever it might be. But the thing is, they are threatened by the idea that the impetus and the impulse that they've generated, propelled and prepared for and strategized for, will be cut. That they will not be able to continue in that same vein. And what I would like to say to them is, on the contrary, but you have to have the courage. Exists, but it is not a bearded daddy in the sky. It is the innermost core of reality, the essence of all things and beings that resides in each one of us. So the God in me meets the God in you. It's actually a very coined phrase in many esoteric practices or New Age practices. It is the origin point, it is the alpha of creation. And, you know, I was trained originally in something called primal therapy. I don't know if you read that.
I did. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, that was in the 60s. Me and John Lennon. John Lennon also came. I actually worked with him. And it was called primal therapy because it's based on the primal scream. It was a book called The Primal Scream, which was very much of a bestseller. And it had to do with facing those early traumas, which you don't even remember, but are subliminally limiting you and projecting the fear and the pain that you felt at that moment in those pre-verbal or whatever. Many of them are verbal, but those hidden traumas that you're projecting into the present. And so there's so much effort and so much energy that is being spent in separating that from the one we want to become, that your power is limited. Now, this is something important also for business leaders. We need powerful men and women. And for there to be powerful men and women, they have to be whole men and women. And that means embracing in naturalness, not strategy. You don't strategy about life. You can strategize about selling a product, but you don't strategize about yourself. And the one who is selling the project, the energy that is selling the project is not the strategy, it's you. For example, in the South American cultures, the ones that the West, the privileged European, calls the third world, which I'm very much against, because I think that's judgmental. They are so into religion and the practice more than anything Christianity. Now, I was brought up a Christian, and I consider myself a Christian. I don't go to church, but I consider myself basically all the values that Christianity holds. And I found there was never any discrepancy between these values, which I still hold from my Catholic school upbringing, are totally in coherence with the Islamic, with the Hindu, and with the Buddhist principles. It's totally in coherence. And so in that sense, I think we're just looking at an outer, external split from the traditional religions. South America is very much still identified with the Christ, with the practices, with going to church, largely. And the West is, kind of away from all that, but they go in through the, let's say, the Buddhist way, the atheist, supposedly. There's no such thing as an atheist for me. If you believe in life, if you love life, if you're passionate, you're in God. The Westerner would be going that way. And of course, the Far East has always known that to be the essence of yourself. I mean, you may invoke Krishna and all these other gods and deities, but you know that there is the one Brahman, that, prehistoric Vedic deity and principle that is the all. I can feel. People see in different ways. I don't see like I see a red light and a green light. It's not little, bunny rabbits hopping across the horizon. It's a knowing. And I've had this since I was a child. And the knowing that comes with visual imagery as well. And when a person is being true or false, or when there's something going on beyond what is apparent. Sometimes I have insights into people's past experiences. Sometimes I have insights into future possibility. It's all very relevant to my attunement at the moment and the relevance of what I perceive. I can block out what is not relevant, and I can concentrate and focus on what is. For example, each person here that is being admitted for this first cohort has been thoroughly, there's a method I devised, which is of emotional diagnosis, not emotional, to get rid of that word, of energetic diagnosis. So we see each person, we ask for 2 photographs, we ask for permission, obviously, and we're seeing what they're carrying with them in terms of energy, past, present, possible future. We see their higher self, what they bring with them from spirit, we see what their bodies are impressed with, and we see what the possibility are. So each person has been very carefully studied, and we've devised some parting, at least, strategies for each that is appropriate for the person. We take care of each person here individually. You're not a teacher if you teach everybody the same way. I mean, you can pass information, but to me, teaching is transformative. And information alone will not transform. For many, many years, it was a very lonely experience. Because you see something, maybe you'll prod a little bit, and the person will totally deny it. Because they still believe in the world of secrecy and separation. But I know. And because you're not seeing with me the same thing, there is a sense of loneliness and aloneness. I think maybe I started this whole thing, I say maybe, but it's more a B than a may, teaching and gathering students around me because I wanted to play with other people who also saw. I wanted to teach them what it is to see and know. And this is what I hope to impart to the business leaders of the future. Anybody can learn.
Right.
Okay, this is not, it's a gift for me. But I've devised ways in which I can enhance the possibilities of this in every single person who is willing to come to a 3-year training. Clairvoyance, witchcraft is a very low form of psychism, and where a lot of superstition, a lot of I teach a lot about thought forms, how we create thought forms and how these acquire life and impact. That's what the media does. These, at the very lowest level, are based on fear. And we are being manipulated by fear. I mean, the whole COVID situation led to these massive proportions of people being freaked out. And now there's freaked out being vaccinated, freaked out being vaccinated, freaked out not, whatever. And so the the real nexus of it is in the level of perception. As we were just saying, we refine and we open the level of perception of individuals here so that they can see, and in seeing they know. Witches were based on superstition, on the hearsay, on fear. Some people were genuinely clairvoyant, but what they saw was appropriate to the level in which they vibrated.
Right.
So if you're down in the pits, if you're ensconced in fear and profit and senseless profit and extortion, you know, of use of people, this is what you will attract, and this is what you will project, and this is what you will think you see. So many, many, many witches, I would say, probably all of them, yes, but there was not enough education or understanding in history. I think this is the first time that we have this possibility of clear sight for the first time in thousands and thousands of years. I would go back. I have an ability also to go back into the past and see where there was these golden ages of truth, and we're far from that, but it's beginning to grow in people. The curiosity, the need, the desire, and the suspicion, the insight, there is this truth. And so people were hung for their beliefs, for their distortions, for being the black side, as Freud would say, you know, the shadow, the id of themselves. Occultism. Occultism is, there's a difference between esotericism and occultism. This is just a technicality. Esoteric is open to the public. It's astrology, tarot, it's all this symbology, and some techniques which are popularized among the New Age. Occultism is, rightly, the correct definition of occultism is that which cannot be explained. It is deeper. It is based on rules of nature and the laws of nature and the laws of energy and light or divine law. It has acquired the connotation of occult in the sense because it is not available to the masses. It is not understood by the masses, so therefore it is occult. So you've got the Rosicrucians, the people, you know, in these societies who practice certain ceremonies. Yeah. I know because I have been present. I have refused to be a member of any one of these organizations. There's a lot of them in England, in the UK. They don't know what they're doing. And they're just a lot of verbiage and a lot of doing without the commensurate positioning in power inside of yourself that would actually empower the ceremonies that they do. So the ceremonies performed are usually at the very low level of belief and not at the level of creation that they are originally conceived. So for me, occultism is a very deep knowledge of the laws of life. Well, I see it, and I want people to see it as a very natural thing, not as a supernatural power.
Yeah.
Because it is natural. It's just covered up by the expediency, by the needs the needs that were created and imposed on us in order to control us. And this goes way far back.
Yeah.
So in order to control the masses, you need to impose certain limits and create certain supposed mysteries.